Hi, I'm Geerges. Escaping North Korea isn't easy, especially after you've already lost half your family to starvation. Grace and Jinhee-jo were kids when their mom decided to get out.
My mom deciding I cannot stay here anymore.
We had to cross several mountains.
So you remember what it was like to be hungry.
Always was hungry. We don't have food for sometimes 2 months.
Welcome to the Geerges Show. In the 1990s, famine hit North Korea, and an estimated 1 million people died of starvation. Among them was Grace and Jinhee-jo's family. Their younger brothers and grandmother died. Their father, who tried to cross into China looking for food, was arrested and died of dehydration on his way to a North Korean prison. In 1998, when Jinhee was 10 and Grace was 6, their mother decided to try to cross the border into China. Then the plan was to get to South Korea. After a 10-year ordeal, they made it to the U.S., where they founded an organization, NK in USA, that advocates for and cares for North Korean refugees. Ladies, welcome to the program.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Invite me.
Grace, I want to ask about your father. In 1997, he snuck into China to look for food for his family, and he was caught.
Yes. My father and my mother, they went to China for 3 times to bring food for feeding us. But unfortunately, at the 3rd time, the village, 1 or 2 people, they reported to the officers, and then they took our father away. And then he stayed in the prison and he suffered a lot. And at the end, we didn't see him anymore.
But you eventually found out that he was being transferred in a train and just never given water.
Yes, so my mother, one day my mother and my grandmother, they received a letter from the government, said my father passed away, but on the letter it says my father tried to escape from the prison, so the guard shot him on the back. That's why he died. But my mom couldn't believe that's true story, so she found out the real story about a month. The real story was he died by starvation and dehydration on the train while he was transferring to the like a small village detention center to the prison in the city.
Jinhee, you were old enough to remember the famine.
Yeah.
What did you guys eat during that time?
Almost every day eat just veggie or wood bark. We call this honamu. I don't know in English what's that called. Pine tree bark. So we eat that all the time, and sometimes we will go to the farmers' places to find out in ground some like frozen potato or few things, and we just eat that all the times. So like months 1 time or 2 times we have chance to eat little bit food, just to have corn powder things put in the vegetable and then boil it so it looks like a soup. But actually, like 20% is the powder, and then corn powder, and 80% is all veggie. So that's why my 2 younger, the Grace and one of another boy, their stomachs they really looks like the biggest, the like adult belly. So they eat a lot, but actually after eat they have to drink a lot water to try to feed their stomach. But they are only like 5 years old and 6 years old. And then 그걸 뭐라 그러지? 영양실조 in English?
It's malnutrition.
Malnutrition, yeah. So they have big belly, but they really skinny body and they really skinny neck, so they cannot sitting all the times. They just try to lay down all the time. So after drink some water and they lay down and they wait for another meal.
So you remember what it was like to be hungry all the time?
Yeah, in my hometown, if somebody asks me, you want to go back to North Korea, I will 100% say the no, because I only remember for the hunger in there. And I was remember from when I was 6. So from 7 years old to 10 years old, always was hungry. Like we don't have food for sometimes it's 1 month to 2 months. So only drink water, hot water or veggie.
You had an older sister who went to China looking for food?
Yeah.
What happened to her?
She was 16 years old in that moment. So after my father is sent back to prison, she was the only person can working for us for find food. So she went out to the house and she asked me, Jinhae, please take care of the younger brother and the grandma. When I come back, I will bring some food for Violet, so you have to ready for that. So I was waiting for her like 7 days. She didn't return back, and my mother was have baby.
She just
Um,
delivered the baby at home.
Yeah. So after that moment, 7 days later, she tried to go looking for her because she was only 16 years old and she walking away like 200 miles away, and she didn't return back. So my mom going to China to looking for her, and she visited many cities to try find her, but we never find it. But we got heard about the news say she went to China and some more people was looking for money, so sold her somewhere, and then
Sold her.
yeah, sold her. So trafficking actually.
This is sex trafficking.
Yeah. So she never returned, and until today we're looking for her.
So this is common that North Korean escapees, women, would be sold into slavery like that.
Yeah, I saw the many hundred, maybe 100 to 100 defectors. What I know, they always say that by themselves was sex trafficking to somewhere, and then sometimes their family rescue them, or sometimes they just run away from their places and come to South Korea or America. I cannot say 100%, but 70% women escape from North Korea. They would have that kind. Yeah.
And you went to school in North Korea.
Yeah.
What did you learn there? What was school like?
For me, I started to go to school for 7, and in the kindergarten start. For history, we learn all about the Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, where they born and what they did for the people. And in the kindergarten, they say use rainbow to cross the Tumen River and come to China and working for the kill the Japanese people. Something they teaching like that kind of things. And in the math is the same too. We will say, I'm sorry to say that, but I can say this is freedom because I can speak with the Americans. Because in North Korea we say 미국 놈을 뭐라 그러지?
The most enemy of the North Korea is the white Yankees.
Yeah.
White Yankees.
So we
yeah.
call that, and then we said, oh, you have 10 American enemy, and the Kim Il-sung killed the 5 of them. How many American is left? That's our math.
That's your math problem.
Yeah. So we study something like that.
That's very interesting. And then little girls, when I sent back to North Korea about 2 times, and then I stayed at the orphanage shelter. So I saw their class, and then little kids, they were drawing images, and I saw they were drawing like 5 or 6 years old. They are drawing picture like a killing American soldier, and use like guns and all those things. So they are drawing guns to kill people. So in America, we have so difficult to imagine all those things.
That's why a lot of the factor when they escape, and then when they start to watch the internet or news or meet with the American missionary people. Before was they very scared, but after like a few days later, we cannot believe each other. But we was really thankful for what the American people or missionary people do for me. So when I was 13, I started to meet with American missionary people, and they start to help us. I just find out it's normal people. They just love us and try to help us. So my organization tried to send this kind of information to the North Korea. So let them know we are peaceful people, not like in North Korea teaching.
What they're being taught. So in July 1998, your mother takes you both. You were about 6 years old, Jinhee was 10 years old, on this trip to China. Describe that trip for us.
What I remember was we walked for 3 or almost 4 days to reach the river. So it was like night and really full with the branches in the mountain. So we had to cross several mountains. And a long way, I was so exhausted.
How did you cross the river though?
And once we get to the river, my mom, she want me to sit inside of her backpack. So I was sitting on her backpack, and then she holding up my sister's hand. My sister actually, she had one cane on her left hand, so both of them hold hands and then cross the river. So I think both of them suffered a lot because the river got flow. Several days ago, it had like huge rain there, so the water level reached my mom's hip and then reached my sister's chest. So it was really strong river. So both of them suffered a lot.
Yeah.
Jinhee, tell me about your two younger brothers.
The youngest one was when he was born is after he born 7 days, my mom left for looking for my sister, and then me and my grandma was try to help him, but my grandma tried to kill him because he don't want to see he's crying all the times and die for hunger. So she just say, I just to give him the quick, maybe that's maybe
To
better
end his
for
suffering,
him.
you mean?
Yeah. So she tried to kill the baby many times. So, but I don't want to. My mom, before she left, she asked me, please keep the baby safety, and then just to come back, make me come back, and then wait for me. So I tried to help him all the times. So I would carry on him and go to the village to ask people to give him some milk to drink, but nobody was help because my father is executed by government. So they say, oh, we cannot help you anything. The government know maybe it's not nice to us, so we can't. But a few people was helped me. So anyway, I go to the one of the places. That places we call the Pangakan in Korean. In America, I know we cannot find it, but in that place, the people bring their like a corn to make them like a piece or make powder places. So I found out some outside of the corn things. Skin, yeah, corn skin. I broke them up and make them like powder, and then cook that.
Make
Like a porridge. But even though I'm hungry, I'm the adult, but I cannot eat that one because it's so hard to eating. But when I feed him, he start eating. And then after he eat little bit of food and he start to smiling on me, and he think I'm the mother, so play with me. I had him almost like 2 months, but one day in the morning when I wake up, he's died in my arm. He was so nice and beautiful boy, but he used to go so early. And I was cry for 3 days, and I cannot believe he is not with me. And my grandma and also Grace and my brothers, we was crying together, and we just started to say why this government is like this. And we always say like that and then cry, but after that, my mom has come back. So she brings some food for us, and then she was believe we can save him. But when she came in, saw the baby is already not in the house, and she started crying. After that moment, the people was called the police to say, oh, their mom maybe brings some food from China. So she was sent back to prison again. She got tortured. So her neck, her head was open like this much, so it's bleeding all the times. But few days later, she ran away from the prison, come back house to try to take care about us. And the police people was coming and bring all the food that my mom bring from China. They say we cannot give you anything about this, and they take it. After that, my grandma, 76 years old, she passed away. And then my mom deciding I cannot stay here anymore. I have to go somewhere to take care of my kids. So she take 3 kids actually. So Grace and Kukchar, the boy, and me. And by herself, she used 2 canes to walk. And then we going to try to going to China. But we walking like all night, and we cannot walking anymore. So by myself, no shoes. And the baby brother, the 5 years old, I have take care of him, and she was walking. And I'm so weak too, and I'm hungry too, so I cannot carry him anymore. So I was give up. So my mom was asking some of friends' house and then asked them, please keep my boy for 5 days. We will come back from China, give you some food or money, and then I will bring my boy with me. So they say, okay. So when we came out from that house, my brother said, "Second sister, why you take younger sister but not me? I want to go with you." He said that many times and crying. So we would say, "Younger sister will bring candy and cookie for you. Sister and mom will bring some white rice, cooking for you the rice. So just to wait 5 days, and we will come back to find you." But we cannot return back because the rain too much, so we cannot cross the border. Second reason is Kim Jong-il was a special day for vote for him, for the
Kim
people.
Jong-un. Yeah, that was the year people vote for Kim Jong-un to be the leader.
So there's too much going on for you to
Oh,
come
he
back.
say if somebody didn't vote for that day,
Vote,
then
yeah.
executing by government. So my mom cannot go back to find him. Anyway, 2 months later, we sent the broker to find him, but the broker come back say he already died in the street.
He was turned out into the streets.
Yeah, because the people, they don't have food too, so didn't take care of him.
In China, you have to hide because
Yes.
the Chinese government will, if they find out there's North Koreans, they'll take them and ship them back.
Yes, yes. So while we were in China, almost whole 10 years we trying to hide. Even though we live in the village or in the city apartments, we always had to be really, really careful. If we live in the apartment, we have to walk really softly and quietly because we don't want let other neighbors to know we live there. And we don't want to close to the window because we don't want to let street people to see us. So
you're almost
everywhere.
like prisoners there, but
Yeah.
at least you're eating.
Right, right. So the life in China was not easy.
Why is China doing this? If they don't want North Korean refugees in their country, why don't they just take them and ship them into South Korea?
Well, that's why after we formed an organization, we trying to ask Chinese government to cooperate with the USA and South Korea to stop that policy. But still, Chinese government doesn't recognize us as refugees in China. They recognize us as illegal, not immigrant, but illegal border crossers. So they always take us and then searching us and then take us back to our own country. So
And they call the North Korea is their younger brother. Also, when they send the North Korean defector to the North Korea, the North Korea give them money, or sometimes they exchange with the trees. Sometimes they change with the miner, or sometimes they use the 석탄이 뭐지? The black one can make fire things.
Coals.
Yeah. They exchange with that.
So China gets a benefit by sending back the North Koreans.
Yeah, and they have 4 or 5 prison in the area in the board. That place is paid by from North Korea. So they have like 100 soldiers live there, and then they survive by from North Koreans' money. So
And you were caught and you were sent back to North Korea, actually twice.
By myself is 4 times.
Yeah.
4 times for you.
Yeah, I was lucky enough just sent back twice.
What happens when you come back to North Korea?
The first time when I go back there, I was thinking I'm grown up enough. So in China, I have to hide always. So I try to survive here if I can, but I cannot do anything because they say my skin is too white and I'm too tall, and I'm for them is too fat girl, and then like every day, almost every day, you walk in the street, they will catch you and they put in the prison. And just don't ask anything, just let me stay in there for 3 days. They don't give me water or food. And 3 days later, almost I'm like passed away, and then they call me out and they start asking the question. And I told them, I just sent back from North Korea. The government
From
already,
China.
From China. So already in the prison, so I'm done with that. Why you guys continue to keep me in here? And they said, oh no, we just have some few questions and then you can go. That's the normal life in North Korea. And I was like 15 years old and they asked me, you have to go to school, but nobody give me the house or job or anything, and they want me to stay in the school. So I have to go farmers or going to the street market to try to make some money or make some food, they always catch me, put in the prison. That's why I say, oh, I cannot stay here anymore. I have to go. So
You have to try to get back into China.
With my mom and I come back again China.
And you, at one point, were put into an orphanage. So you were
Yes.
sent back to North Korea and put into a North Korean orphanage.
Yes.
Because you were on your own.
Yeah.
What were the conditions there?
Wow. Like we wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning and everybody lined up on the hallway, and then we count numbers every morning. And then once we finish breakfast, breakfast is like a little rice, like corn rice, with the cabbage soup. After we eat everything, that's like 7 a.m. in the morning, and then the guards will call names, like a little strong and taller people. They will sort those students, and then they will send it to the field for work. I was so little, so I didn't send out to the like a big farm or any other factories to work, but still little girls, we sent it to the community. So we sort the corns, or they just send the kids out to the community and just
So
find
even
work.
in an orphanage, when they're supposed to care for the kids, they send them out to work
Yes,
all day long
all day long.
instead of going to school.
Yes.
Yeah, I was go to the orphanage places for 2 times, but I'm the taller one, so I have to go work every time.
What kind of work did you do?
Was going to like boibu agents, restroom, fix it the things. So in here, maybe like FBI places, kind of like similar.
Intelligence agents.
Oh, the intelligence
offices.
agencies.
Yeah, they fixes them their restroom or fix it their
Like
backyard.
a construction
Yeah, so
works.
we have to working in that kind of places, or farmer, the government farmer.
After all this, at any point did you decide, you know what, this isn't working for me, let me just try to stay in North Korea and try to make a life here?
I was thinking many times. I tried to do, but in North Korea, you cannot do anything. You don't have any freedom.
There was a large bribe paid essentially by a Korean pastor to get you guys out of Korea and eventually into the United States. Jinhee, you actually met President Bush in 2008. What did you say to him?
First time I said, please don't give any food to North Korea. And second one is, please don't help us or help us to let Chinese people know, don't send North Korean to the North Korea. So that 2 things I was asked him.
But even today, it's still happening.
Yeah.
They're still being sent back.
Yeah.
So you did a hunger strike, actually, in front of the Chinese embassy.
Yeah. After I met with President Bush, and I know he will go to the China in that moment because that was 2008 Olympics in China. So I was thinking, I'm just a younger girl, 21 years old, and I asked him to help us to few things, but maybe he's too busy or he don't remember me. So I'm Christian, so I started to try to pray to God, please help him to remember North Korean defectors and do something for us. And then I was started to hunger strike in Chinese embassy, but a lot American people was coming buy for me the like chairs, bed, and blankets, and every day the coffee, food, ice. A lot of people was helping. Yeah, they was buy for me food, but I said I'm the hunger stress. I cannot eat any food.
Okay. Grace, obviously you guys suffered a lot.
Yes.
And I know it's hard to tell the story again and again. Why do you continue to tell the story? Why do you want your story out?
Well, in the beginning, I just tried to focus on my education and work, trying to resettle in the United States as same as other refugees. But when I see my sister, she tries so hard to run the organization and travel a lot and give a talk. She has a big heart about North Korean human rights. So when I see her, I also thought a lot. But I think maybe this is our mission as survivors. There are so many people still suffering in North Korea. So if we don't tell those stories to this world, who can talk? Who can tell people about those like tragic stories? So I said, well, I am very grateful to be alive. So I should spend my time to tell the stories and educate people in the world. If people in the world know about this reality, they might do something for North Koreans. Well, that's why I guess my sister and I, we keep telling our stories.
How did you feel at the moment that you became an American citizen?
Oh, it was my most pride.
Proud?
I feel pride, yeah, and then I feel so happy and thankful to America. I always say same thing to other people too, but I feel like we were orphans, like international orphans, because our own country doesn't want us, Chinese government doesn't want us, and the US government accepted us as citizens. So when I get the citizen certificate, I feel so happy because I belong to somewhere and I can say I am American citizen. So I feel very happy and it was unforgettable memory.
Grace and Jinhee, thanks so much for being on the program.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
This has been the Mimi Geerges Show. You can see all of our programs on WHUT.org and YouTube. Connect with us on Facebook and Twitter and leave me your comments there. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll join me again next time.